When news of the FNAF movie first started floating around the internet, I immediately started making predictions about what the story could be. My first thought was the theorize. If you've been on the channel for about two weeks or so, you know that I loved the theorize. I felt like it was the perfect standalone version of the FNAF storyline. It didn't cover everything in the games, but that would be nearly impossible for a book or a movie. But the theorize was perfect for what it was. It was concise, it made sense, it wasn't overly complicated with ridiculous lore. There was still the classic horror elements of the original FNAF, plus like all the intrigue of mystery of figuring out the theories and the Easter eggs, all that fun stuff. And it has so much potential for a lot of suspense and thrilling scenes. After seeing pretty much any of the castings though, I can assure you this movie will not be following Charlie, daughter of Henry Emily, and her friends as they struggle to uncover the truth, while also facing off against old purple guy, so not the theorize. In fact, I don't even know what this movie's gonna be about, honestly. It's all because of one character. Somehow, for the first FNAF movie, they're gonna introduce Vanessa, a character who was introduced in literally the last game of the FNAF game series. And they're also introducing Mike Schmidt, who at this point I'd fully forgotten that name even existed. I don't even know. I guess it's time to read up on my FNAF lore. Oh, Mike Schmidt from FNAF 1. That would make perfect sense, except what is he doing here with Vanessa? Also, isn't Mike Schmidt a fake name for Michael Afton? I think this could make a little more sense if you believe in the theory that Vanessa is another one of the Afton kids, but I honestly can't see how that would fit her into FNAF's first and possibly only movie. Like, I haven't heard anything about a potential sequel, and I think I would have, considering this movie's entire development is getting leaked almost daily. So yeah, I'm counting this as a solo movie. If we were getting a series of movies, sure, go nuts, go crazy, try to explain the ridiculously complicated lore from start to finish. In one movie though, I'm interested to see how they're gonna do that, or what they're gonna come up with at all. So I mentioned what I wanted the story to be, and that got crushed. So what's this movie actually gonna be about? I'm gonna try and come up with this myself, and if it sounds super stupid or super close to someone else's predictions, then well, I'm sorry about that. And if it gets confusing, just try to stick through it to the end. I'll try to give a concise, like, easy to follow timeline for each, like, idea that I come up with some nice little pictures just for you. So okay, we know Mike Schmidt, aka Michael Afton, is in the movie, and I'm assuming he's the main character, because it's either him or the kids that they casted, and that's ridiculous. Or it could be Vanessa, but I mean, literally, why would it be Vanessa? And now that I said that, it's gonna be Vanessa, and I'm gonna look real stupid. Anyway, alright, Michael Afton, main character. He plays a huge role in FNAF, and he's pretty much the main character throughout most of the games, I think? Is that still the theory? I need to watch more MatPat videos. From what I recall though, he's visiting all the FNAF locations, tracing his father's footsteps, and I think trying to right his father's wrongs? Right? Yeah, is that right? Seriously, we need to get this right or they get pissed. Do you remember when I called Spring Bonnie Golden Bonnie? Yeah, I don't want another repeat of that. I'm still getting crap about that. This actually could be a perfect format for the story, and I almost love this as much as the theorize idea. It works really well with more movies, so Mike can actually visit the other locations, and the story can slowly build itself up and reveal things over time. Otherwise, he's going to be visiting like 12 different pizzerias in one movie. That's just ridiculous. Going back to assuming we're only getting one movie though, it could still work, but the story needs to be trimmed down by a lot, and basically make this about one location only. Then if they want, they could maybe have Mike say something like, oh, I've been visiting all these locations and pizzerias and it led me here, and maybe this is the final location he ends up in. Then they could do a whole thing where it's a surprise reveal that this was like the main Freddy's location, or this is the first location, or something like that. Or they can only hint at the other locations and leave it ambiguous as to what happened to them, or just not mention them at all. What would actually be hilarious and so on brand would be if they fully intend to only do this one movie, focus on this one Freddy's location, and then randomly make enough money to do a bunch more movies, and then they just try to make it work and fit everything into a timeline that makes sense. Honestly, I'd love that just as much as like an actually well thought out movie series. Whichever route they go though, there's still one loose end left. What the are they doing with Vanessa? Why is she here? I'm trying to think, and I think there's only two things they can do to make her fit. Alright, I'm usually a huge fan of staying true to the source material unless you absolutely need to make changes, so I'm gonna try and make this work with the theory that she's another Afton child. This would make her Mike's sister, and as I'm writing this, I actually really like how this storyline could go. What? Alright, so if we go this route, I think they could have Vanessa as a nice second protagonist. Maybe she's not who we're mainly following, but, you know, she's important. I think her and Mike could have a really nice dynamic in this movie, and she can be, like, involved in what he's been doing. She might also want to right her dad's wrongs, and she's going out there with her brother trying to retrace his footsteps, learn the truth, free child souls from their animatronic coffins, etc. Here's where we give her more lore. She's actually going to end up becoming corrupt. Bam, Vanny introduced. Also, I'm not even going to entertain the idea that Glitch Trap exists in this movie universe. So maybe instead of her getting crept with like a virus or involved in the culty whatever thing, I don't know. Maybe she double crosses Mike because she just loves her father too much. She still believes he's a good man or something like that, and she goes bad. I actually really like that. Whether she ends up bad or not though, it would explain her role as a security guard in the movie, while also keeping her as an important character and staying somewhat true to the game's lore. Alternatively, if she isn't an Afton child, she could still play the same role and either just cut Vanny out or go back to the culty thing, whatever it is, and just say she's a big fan of Purple Guy. See, we're not quite at the glitch trap lore because no, but it works. However, if we want to fully disregard Vanessa's lore in the games, this could be a really good time to introduce some kind of outside influence in the FNAF universe. I always found it kind of weird that there's no police like investigations or things going on both on or off screen. At least not any that's like super fleshed out. Again, excluding the theorize because there's literal police characters in there. But anyway, Vanessa could be some kind of undercover agent or like part of it, the investigation, something like that. She could be going undercover to investigate Fazbear Entertainment and all the reports of missing children and the mishaps that have taken place. This would also explain why she appears as a security guard, or really why she appears at all in this movie. She was assigned to the missing children's incident and got caught up in something so much deeper than she expected. This could also make her a main character with Mike, and they could again have a really nice dynamic where maybe she's suspicious of him and his involvement, but they become unlikely allies and find out they're on the same team, all that fun stuff. Also, this is kind of random, but speaking of Mike, when does he get all scooped and entered? Like, if they ever covered that, that would be so gruesome, but super cool to see. And also a huge twist. It would just be something crazy to see happen. I don't think they're ever gonna do it. At least definitely not in this movie, but it would be cool to see. Anyway, I did say I try to make sense of all my ramblings earlier, so here we go. I only have a little space, so I'm gonna try and make this work as best I can. I could. This also might work. Alright, so here we have the main timeline. Mike is Michael Afton, William Afton's son. Mike is going around retracing his father's footsteps, trying to learn the truth about his dad's past, and maybe trying to right some of his wrongs. Here, we pretty much immediately split into two timelines, but we'll focus on this top one up there because we're gonna fully abandon it in a second. So okay, this is assuming we're getting multiple movies. Mike is going to each FNAF location, and throughout this movie maybe we'll see one or two of them. He goes around learning stuff, saving children's souls, and I assume burning down the locations as he goes. Lore gets sprinkled in there throughout each movie, which eventually comes together, giving Mike and the viewer, hopefully, all the answers. I wonder if I can like bring it down here. Thank you. This is pretty much not gonna happen, so we're gonna go back to the split for timeline 2. Editing Mox, I'm so sorry. This is going to be so much work for you. Have fun. Okay, so anyway, so here Mike hints at visiting other locations, and maybe even alludes to visiting more of them after the movie's ending, saying that this isn't over, and this leaves the viewer to assume that the story carries on after the movie's end. We just won't see it. That's assuming, again, we only get one movie. Okay, so we have a possible beginning, possible end. We just need this, like, middle section here. Are you still with me? So now, Vanessa comes in and splinters our timeline like a very confusing tree. So Vanessa can get introduced at the beginning or partway through the movie, and in this timeline we're saying that she's Mike's sister, one of the Afton children. She's working with her brother to learn the truth about her father and possibly help right his wrongs. We get nearly to the end of the movie, doing all the fun FNAF stuff, getting some nice lore, juicy lore in there, getting spooked by the animatronics, learning about the hauntings, all that fun stuff. Eventually end up in an office that doesn't make sense and has doors that need power to close. The whole thing, everything. Then here, Vanessa either does or does not turn. So here, in timeline 2A, Vanessa turns on Mike, becoming Vanny. And in this timeline, she was double-crossing him the whole time, leading him to his death or maybe leading him to their father. I don't super love this one, it's kind of corny. Moving on to the next timeline. Timeline 2B, again, Vanessa turns on Mike, becoming Vanny. But in this one, she loves her father and she can't accept the horrible things that he's done. So she just breaks. She embraces her father's roots and she just loses her mind basically, but ends up becoming Vanny all the same. I like this one a lot more, but we still have other timelines to go through, so let's just go up. Alright, here we have timeline 3A. In this one, Vanessa isn't one of the Afton kids, but she does have an obsession with William Afton, the purple guy, Springtrap, whatever you want to call him. Spring Bonnie, Withered Spring Bonnie, I don't know. People have all these ridiculous names. Wanting to follow in his footsteps, she disguises herself as Vanny to help him in his plans, and either Afton does or doesn't know, and he encourages it or fully doesn't notice or care because he has his own agenda. I super don't like this one. It's way too close to all that glitch trap bullshit. So we're gonna move on over to timeline 3B. Again, Vanessa isn't one of the Afton children. Instead, she's an undercover investigator looking into Fazbear Entertainment and eventually gains Mike as an unlikely ally to help take down Afton. Okay, I think that's all of them. Was that too much repeating? I felt like it was a lot of repeating. Anyway, what do you think of my timeline? plural. Yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of all that, but more importantly, what do you guys think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you want to add some stuff, take some stuff away, flesh it out a little more? Let me know down in the comments below. I think I can scoot up here a little bit now. Okay, we good? Are we in full frame? Are we good now? I actually really love making these kinds of videos where you just explore alternate timelines based on just different characters' decisions, outcomes, backgrounds, etc. I like exploring alternate timelines. For example, in this timeline, I'm wearing this nice blue shirt, but in another timeline, I'm wearing a shirt from the Nostalgia Corporation, my clothing company. If you like this shirt and similar shirts, I have the link down in the description, first link. We just recently released 2 hoodies, which I super love. And I was so hyped on making them, I didn't leave one for myself. So you might actually be the first to own one of these hoodies before even me, the owner. But anyway, if you're into the idea of nostalgia, again, like I said, first link in the description below. But that's going to be just about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more. I am super loving these videos. I have a whole bunch planned. And even a live stream that I'm going to be doing about the FNAF movie. Anyway, thank you all for watching. See you all in the next one. And goodbye.